Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of It Came From Beyond the Mic. I'm your host, Cortez, and, before I can really talk about the topic of today's episode, I should probably just get into lay down the groundwork of what this podcast is actually about. So, my goal here is to just talk about horror movies that I enjoy. Well, okay, not just horror movies that I enjoy. I want to talk about like any and all horror movies that I watch. So I will be expanding my repertoire of horror movie knowledge and what I actually have seen through this, and I will just basically just be experiencing a shitload of horror movies, and then I will talk about what I do or do not like about each film. And I just think it'd be a fun thing because I like film a lot, and I found myself really enjoying the horror genre. I never considered myself to be a horror guy for a long time. I don't even know what sparked it, because obviously, like, I had seen horror movies before I had been aware that I like horror movies. But then now here we are to the point where I'm making a podcast about horror movies, and I want to talk about them and shit. I just think horror movies are really fascinating. They want to scare us. It's like, how you gonna do it, big guy? You better kill me in one hit. But basically, it's just I'm trying to make a 15 to 30 minute episode on each movie. And with that, I will be going, I'll do sequels and whatnot. I won't do them in order. Like, if I make an episode about one movie and there's a sequel in that series, I don't think the next episode will immediately be about the sequel. We'll see if I change my mind on that in due time. But for now, I'm just doing movies, and I'll try to do an episode. My goal right now is trying to do an episode at least every 2 weeks, but it might become a weekly thing, just, one episode a week. I mean, they're going to be relatively short episodes, so I don't think it'll be too much of a burden to bear, as it were. But we should probably actually start talking about what I want to talk about this episode. And we're going to be talking about the film, the classic Halloween from 1978, not the 2018 one. Which 2018 one's not really a remake, but whatever. I've seen that one too. We'll talk about that eventually. We'll get there, but that one will be for down the line. But for now, we're talking about the 1978 Halloween, and goddamn do I love this movie. Holy shit. It's genuinely like just one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's just a really good movie, and I think it's subtle, but like it does its job so well. It's just such a creepy film. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, great movie in my opinion. There's a lot to talk about. So like, there's a lot of fun voyeur shots. I just want to talk about the voyeur shots really quick, cause like, some of it's like the perspective of Michael Myers himself, and like, that's fun, and then some of it's like kind of from the perspective of Michael, but it's a lot of creepy voyeur shit of him just like before the movie really starts going. It's just like some creepy shit to like lay down the groundwork to skeeve you out a little bit. And I like that. I like voyeur shots in movies. They're fun when used properly. Because I think there's like two types of voyeur shots in my mind. There's I refer to it as domestic and feral. And domestic kind of pertains to like if it's a less shaky shot, like the POV that we're kind of getting the voyeur shot from is a little less frantic. It's more like, okay, let's actually look at the characters. And then there's the feral one where it's genuinely more POV, like through their eyes voyeur shot, where it's like shaky. They're fucking going wild with it, if any of that makes sense. Whatever. I'm not really a film professional, but I do like talking about movies a lot, which is why I'm here. So there's fun voyeur shots, and I love the shot near the beginning when we see 6-year-old Michael Myers kill his 17-year-old sister. I love the shot where the parents take off the mask and you see 6-year-old Michael Myers holding a bloodied knife, and he just has this absent look on his face. And I love that shot because there's the creepy soundtrack, and then you just see the camera pull away from this kid who looks like he doesn't even know what he did. And that's... I can't... Okay, so the character of Michael Myers, it's weird because he's almost nothing, but in being nothing, he's like everything, if that makes sense. Because like the point of Michael Myers is that he's just kind of empty. He just kills, but like that's so good because it's just why you don't know, and you don't need to know. You don't get to know. It's just Michael Myers in there. He's just a fucking killer, And I've seen Halloween 2, like the actual quote-unquote sequel, so I will talk about that, but for now I'm going to stay out of Halloween 2 territory and purely talk about Halloween 1. I'll just call it Halloween, not Halloween 1. That's a bit dumb. So yeah, no talking about Halloween 2 stuff. But Michael Myers is such a cool character because he, Dr. Loomis, Samuel Loomis. It's funny hearing him talk about Michael because he talks about him like he is pure evil. He's just nothing. He is empty. He is a shell. He's a human-shaped killing machine, I guess you could say. He's the shape of a human, but there's just nothing going on in there, and he just wants to kill, and he can kill. He's like very smart as well, Michael Myers, because he knows how to drive, and it's like, how does he know how to drive? And that's another part of the mystery. It's like, how does he know how to fucking drive? But then there's like a part where Samuel Loomis, I like just watched this movie. Like each movie that I'll be talking about for this podcast, I will have watched specifically so that I can talk about it on the podcast. So yeah, just know that, because I want to be on my shit, you know. I don't want to be slacking and, you know, forgetting details. So I've just watched this movie. So there's a part where Samuel Loomis is like, he mentions that like when Michael escaped, he was able to drive away. It's like maybe someone around here was giving lessons to him, but then that isn't really expanded on again. I mean, I don't know if, like, was someone giving him lessons? You don't know. There's just so much ambiguity, to Michael's character that it's creepy and it's fun, and Michael Myers is strong and cool, and and his, like, character design, I guess you could say, is fairly simple, you know. I'm sure most of y'all know the story. It's like, I was a fucking, what's his face? It was just like a mask spray painted white, that shit. It's just like the uncanny look, and it's just, he's an uncanny big man with a knife, and that's all there is to him. But it's just so good. I guess story wise, he would fall into a more complex character. But then there's Laurie Strode herself, the protagonist, final girl character of this movie, and I think she's a great character too, because she's smart as well. She's clever. She seems control of a mostly uncontrollable situation, and she also seems like she's really kind, because all of her friends are like, they're cool, they're not bad people, but they clearly play into that like, yeah, we're fucking teens kind of stereotype's not the word, but I forget the word right now. Archetype, sorry, that's the word. So they fall into the like the we're shitty teens kind of archetype, where it's like, yeah, we love drinking beer, having sex, smoking ciggies. Yeah, you want to hit this joint. And it's not entirely that Laurie is pure. There's like a part where she's smoking weed with one of her other friends, and it's fine. I'm not saying Laurie's going to hell because she smoked weed once. You know, I'm not trying to be that guy, obviously. But like, Laurie is like a sweet character because she's like chill. She'll help her friends out. It's like, yeah, I'll watch this little kid for you so that you can go out when you're supposed to be babysitting instead. You know, it's like homie shit. And Laurie Strode seems like a nice babysitter because she's really sweet to her kid. I think his name is Tommy. You know, she's like, yeah, let's, you know what, kid, tonight we'll carve pumpkins and make popcorn and stuff. And don't worry, there's no boogeyman. And that's another thing is like Tommy, this kid is like scared of the boogeyman. It's like, but who is the boogeyman? Michael fucking Myers, baby. Michael Myers is the boogeyman, and he's gonna fucking get you with his big knife and big arms. I think some of the kills in this movie are interesting. Again, no spoilers on Halloween 2, but I like the kills in that movie a lot. But the kills in this movie are a lot more tame. They're a little bit more domestic, I would say. Just kind of coming back to the domestic and feral. And I like that they're domestic. They're more subdued. They're not as out there. Because they are a little bit more scary because they're... I don't know if realistic is the word, but it's because they're not so crazy. You know, there's a girl who gets strangled with a phone cord. There's a man who just, you know, he gets stabbed, but Michael using his immense strength, like, stabs him so hard that it, like, pins him to a wall. And, like, you know, it's some suspension of disbelief stuff. Michael is just immensely strong for no real reason. And, again, ambiguity of his character. It's like, how? And it's like, that's what makes him scary. We don't know how. Fear is not knowing, you know? So it's fucking Michael Myers is cool. The kills, you know, again, they're tame because they're almost stealthy because Michael, for a long period of time in this movie, is not found out, I guess you could say. He is nonchalantly doing some killings, and it's like some fun stealthy shit because he doesn't want Loomis to find him, because Loomis throughout this whole movie is like, I know Michael is evil, I need to track him down, and I need to stop him, otherwise people will die. And guess what, Bucko? People fucking die. It's all of Laurie's, like, friends, her more shithead, haha, teen pals. But that's fucking scary. Can you imagine yourself? You're just a youngin'. Maybe you're young, maybe you're not, whatever. You're a person at the end of the day. You're a human being. You have some friends, and you go into a house, and you find, like, all of your friends just dead, and you don't know why. You don't know who did it. And then that man reveals himself to you, and you're like, fuck, I am in trouble. And then I think that's where Laurie Strode shines, is in the latter half of this film. Because she's been a nice character, but she doesn't seem much different from her friends. But then her cleverness kind of shines through just a tad. I admit some of it's a little bit of luck, because Michael stabs her, but he, like, grazes her arm. And I just wonder, I'm like, how did Michael fuck up? And again, I'm not going to talk about spoilers from Halloween 2. But it's just like, how did Michael fuck up and, like, graze her arm like that? He could have gone for the kill. He could have got her right in the back, but he missed somehow. Because Michael does not seem much like the type of killer to toy with his victim. He's, like, clever. He'll do what he can to get to you, but he doesn't play with you much more than he needs to. He doesn't draw out the killing process. He is very efficient. But Laurie, in her escapings, is clever. She makes sure the kids are safe first and foremost, tying back to that whole, she's a good babysitter kind of idea. She's a babysitter at heart. She's good at what she does. But then, and of course I'm going to be talking about spoilers for any movie that I cover. I feel like this movie is not like, hey guys, I need to make a spoiler warning for a movie from 1978 that is highly regarded as a film classic, grandfather of slasher films. I don't think I need to put a spoiler warning for that. But films in the future, I'll be like, hey, I'm getting into spoiler territory. So I've just been going off the rail for this one, really, because I like this damn movie, and I want to talk about it as I damn will. But anyway, as Laurie and Michael, interact more in the latter half of this film, Michael actively trying to kill Laurie, her cleverness shines through, because she was trapped in a closet. She's like, okay, I'm trapped in the closet, but I'm not just going to hide in the closet. I'm going to tie this bitch off so it's harder to get into. And then as Michael's, like, busting in, she gets a hanger and stabs him in the eye, which, that's hardcore. And also, you have to be accurate if you're using a fucking hanger to stab someone in the eye. But, she does it, and it stuns him for a bit, and then he drops his knife, then she stabs him. It's really cool. And then she's like, all right, kids, I need you to get the fuck out of here. Go get some cops. And then that beautiful shot where Michael, he's laying down. He's like, okay, cool, the monster's dead. No, Michael gets back up, and that's just another reason I love this movie. I already said it was like the grandfather of slasher movies. If you're unaware, this movie did kind of spark the trend from, 70s, 80s, started falling off in the 90s, the slasher genre. I'm not saying it invented it, because I don't think it did, but it certainly popularized it. It's kind of playing into the invincible killer kind of trope thing, and that's some good shit. It's just, it's a hunk of meat that doesn't want to die. And even more so because Samuel Loomis gets into the house that Laurie's in. He's like, oh shit, Michael's here. And he starts, immediately on site, Loomis starts plugging Michael with his revolver. 6 shots into the motherfucker. The dude falls off a balcony. And Loomis is like, damn, I gotta finish him off. So he looks over the ledge, and then boom, what is our final thing of the movie? Michael's gone. There's nothing in where he once was. So Michael is out. And then Laurie's like, was that the boogeyman? And he's like, it was. And that's I don't know if it's thematic, really. I mean, I guess more, whatever. I'll talk about the theme, I guess, in a second, which is weird. Anyway, yeah, Michael's gone. It's scary. It's like, what the fuck? And the final thing that we're left with is the Halloween theme playing as you hear breathing, like Michael's breathing through the mask. And I adore that. Because, like, that he's still alive and he's still a threat, and it's just the beautiful Halloween theme. And I love John Carpenter's soundtrack so much. I've seen They Live, I've seen Escape from New York, I've seen Halloween, obviously. And the Halloween theme gets me so jazzed every time. And with Escape from New York, I enjoyed Escape from New York, but I think I like the soundtrack more than the movie itself, honestly. Because there's a lot of, like, cool things in that movie. Even conceptually, it's, like, fun, but I adore that soundtrack. It's just John Carpenter knows how to make some goddamn movie scores. Ugh. Love that shit. I guess back to the theme. I mentioned I was going to talk about the theme, because there's actually a really creepy part that because everybody talks about, mostly when Loomis is describing Michael as like the ultimate, like, it's like Michael's evil. I've known him for years, and he's just nothing. He's a soulless human, all that. He's like, he's pure evil. And there's that, but I think there's a creepy part where we see Laurie at school, and her teacher's talking about fate, because it's like from like a story that I guess they're reading in school or something. It's like, so-and-so is fated, like no matter what he does, he was fated to die or something like that. And it's just, I think that, it's not that subtle, because it's a big audio clip of the scene, but it's also when Laurie first sees Michael, I believe. Yeah, I think that's when she first sees Michael, is through the window when she's at school and her teacher's talking about fate. And I think that's a really creepy moment, and I like it because it's like a little bit of foreshadowing. It's like, these two are fated. And again, I don't want to talk about spoilers from Halloween 2. I'm actually excited to talk about that one. I'm not talking about it next. I won't say what I'm going over next, but I think I already know. Halloween 2 was actually a good movie, but anyway, Halloween 1, great movie. I'd say it's a goddamn masterpiece. I think, honestly, that's about all my thoughts on this bad boy. Is just, it deserves its place in history as a pioneer, and it just, I think it brings a lot to the table, and it's a movie that I found myself attached to. There's other movies that I like this, but this one is, not only do I find it to be a very good horror film, but I find it to just be a very high caliber film just on its own. And that's not to disparage the horror genre, but you can like movies from a certain genre, but maybe they're not inherently on your top 10 favorite movies of all time. But this one, I think, in what it does, I think it's earned a spot on, like, my top 10 list, which I can't really name my top 10 list off the top of my head right now, but it's in there. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say on this movie. So I thank you all out there for watching the first episode of It Came From Beyond the Mic. I'll be sure to make more of these. I haven't decided if I'm doing it weekly or every 2 weeks or whatnot, but, I'll put it out there. You'll find me on the YouTube channel as well as Podomatic, where you'll be able to access this. My Twitter is @CortezIsDead. Of course, I'll be linking all this in the description and whatnot. I was your host, Cortez, and again, I thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you.